What we have here is the new router from the company Mafell. It's called the LO 55. 55 is the way that we can move with the machine, and LO for us is the whole router range. This is meant to be the small one, which means 1100 watts, 3.2 kilograms. And the maximum size we can put in tools is an 8mm shaft. We can reduce it to 1/4 inch or to 6mm, but we can't go bigger, but this is in this size absolutely okay, it's a standard. What we did, we changed the 3 most important things that you usually do with the machine besides of switching it on. You adjust the height and then clamp it. You change the tool, the router bit where you usually use a tool, and the depth stop is usually what you have to adjust before you start working. And we try to make everything more convenient and also more comfortable. So the height adjustment, we release it here with a switch. The height is fixed at all time until I lose the switch, and then I can adjust it. And as soon as I let it loose, it's fixed again. So it's not on the end user how much power he can put into. It's every time convenient and comfortably fixed. Next thing is the tool change. Usually you have something to change it. You have a spindle lock, you have to take care with everything. Here we just have a lever. If you open it, you can take out a tool or put it in, and if you close it, it's again fixed. So you don't need any additional tool, you don't need anything out of the box. This is it, finished. Here we have this lever. With this lever we open the depth stop. Then you can decide which stop you want on the opposite side here. You can choose between 3. Then we go to 0. You take the scale to 0. So this is a standard. This is what all other manufacturers usually also do. You adjust the depth after the scale, fix it, and again it's no screw where you would have the danger of screw opening through vibration or something, and it's properly fixed. What we have is switch on off, suitable for both sides of your hands. We have the speed control here. The level you're working with is signaled here. We can reduce it in 6 different steps, and we have another function if you work with the machine with 100% turn. In some cases it is better to reduce the speed. If you have a solid wood and you go across the grain, if you go at full speed, there might be burning marks or something. But with other machines it is too difficult or not comfortable to change the speed, because you would have to change the position of your hands. And with this one we have a switch here, and when you activate this switch, then we reduce the speed with -30% of what we adjusted here. And you can see that you work with a reduced speed because it is not a permanent light anymore. It's giving you a signal, take attention, reduce. So if you have solid wood and you cut across the grain, we use this. Then you can go back to 100, go back to 2. So this is a thing we might, it might be helpful, might be comfortable. Depending on the router bit you are working with, might help you getting a better result in a shorter time. We have on the lower side we have the base plate. If you turn it around, we have a base plate with a Pertinax plate or surface here. And you see we have an inlay. If you work with a smaller router, this gives you more offlay so that the machine does not fall down or support. If you have a bigger router without a tool, you can easily just put it out and then work with the machine as it is here. So the dust extraction is already integrated in the base plate, but you see that the space where the air comes into the dust extraction is relatively large. So the dust extraction is not focused on the way where the chips are produced. This is why we have within the delivery specification an accessory. It's the dust extraction adapter. If you put it into the base plate and turn it, you see that the dust extraction still comes from here, but it's now focused on the point where the router is working. And so we achieve a very good dust extraction and a much better result than without. But this only works when you have the machine on the material, because now the surrounding is closed, so there is no air coming from the sides. And this does not work when you work on a guide rail or on a self-made jig or something. Here as an example we have the Mafell rail. In the base plate we have a groove, and if we put the machine on the guiding tongue here, you see that now I don't have a support, and also the dust extraction can feed itself from everywhere around, so it's not as focused as it should be. And this is why we have the same shape as a second accessory. This time we have the accessory with a plate. The plate has the same material thickness than our whale, so it equals the height. And if we put this in and turn it around, then we have a support on both sides. And again, the dust extraction is absolutely perfect because it's focused on the point where the router works. But that also means if you produce yourself a jig, you usually use whatever you have in your shop or what lies around. So we can't just focus on one material thickness. If you would have a board or something and you want to use it as a support, this would not work because it is only 6 millimeters. This is why we have a second solution. So if you look at the screw here, if I open it, there is a foot coming out of the column of the guiding, and with this foot I can adjust different material thicknesses and support the machine also then on both sides of the router, so that it's perfectly balanced and positioned. For copy rings we decided to make them out of plastic, but it's not a cheap plastic, it's a glass fiber reinforced plastic, so it's very sturdy and keeps the shape. But it gave us then the possibility to form it in a way that when we put it into the base plate and we turn it, they go against the stop and they are absolutely perfectly centered against the router bit. So there's no need to test or try something, there's no need for an additional jig. Just turn it around, tighten it with the universal clamping here, and then it's done. And we decided to do most common sizes in average. So every country has some specialities, but we have 20, 30, 40. This one kit that comes with the machine. And we have one adapter, which is a universal adapter and enables you to use the collets that are already on the market and available. This, for example, in the UK, 16 millimeter is relatively popular for jigs. And this fit into here. Just push it together. Some people might already work with it. It's either porter cable or trend, for example. And then we have the same function, so it's already centered against the tool when we put it in. This is not a delivery specification with our machine, because this is mine. We have a chip deflector. Chip deflector for us, you can put it in from both sides, so you can change it to 130 degrees. If you work somewhere at the edge of the material, it avoids that the chips fly away and they get catched. We have 8 millimeter as a maximum. In the UK version, we supply the machine as a delivery specification with a reducing collet down to 1/4 inch. We also have a parallel fence, simple parallel fence in the machine. We decided to have the proper longer columns with the 8 millimeter size in the same shape as our bigger machines, our LO65, the bigger model has. In the delivery specification we also have a fine adjustment for the distance here. We wanted to have the proper column, so that makes it necessary to disassemble it when you put it into the box. But yeah, it was for us, it was more important to have a proper column in a proper length when you work with the machine than the job you have to do, then put it back in. The shape of the fence also makes it possible to work with another accessory. This is not a delivery specification, it's a separate accessory you can buy. We introduced it for our bigger router. It's more for construction, staircases, things like that. But you can also work with this here as a parallel fence. But the more important thing for me is if you put the parallel fence thing away, we have a track adapter, because on the lower side of this adapter we have 2 grooves. One groove, as the colors indicate, is for the Mafell whale, and other grooves might fit on other whales that are available from other tool manufacturers. So if you already have something in your shop not usable with this, you can also work on other whales. And then we have a whale adapter here for our whale. If you are in construction, we have end stops for the length of the groove or the pocket you want to cut out, with fine adjustments on both sides. For the width of the groove, we have stops here that make it possible to adjust the width of the groove. And then we could just go over here, go back, and route out a form, a special formula when you need 19.5, for example, you don't have a router bit with 19.5 width, and here you can adjust it with a 10 millimeter over for a 19.5 width. And also, if we look under the fence, there is a bolt that now comes out. We use it as a circle cutter, but with a new rail that we brought out, there were also holes in here, 32 millimeter distance, so we can produce the holes for the shelf pins in a cabinet for the sides. If you want to produce a side of a shelf or a cabinet or something, you have the 32 millimeter system for the shelf pin holes or something. You open this, just move to the next stop, and then you put it in. You press the machine down, but now you realize that at the beginning we talked about the permanent fixing here, which in the usual use is an advantage. Here it might be a disadvantage because there would be the need for a third hand to open the clamping. And this is why with a 2.5 millimeter Allen key you can stop the height adjustment, so it's turned off now, and so I can work with just two hands, press it down, go to the position for the next hole, press it down again, and as soon as I want to have the function back, I just turn the screw around and now I have it fixed again. Yeah, some of the features, router is a very universal tool, so you can do a lot of different things with it. You can produce a lot of different jigs on your own, but yeah, this is just the main thing.